This video is for entertainment purposes only. Careful. I got these two hounds from hell running around here. One of them's probably going to jump up in my lap in a second. I'm going to thank Soy Solo for putting out his little posts today. Feeling motivated. Thank you, brother. Been a rough couple weeks. Not going to lie. I was pretty sick for a minute. And I'm just now feeling like I'm getting back to normal. And I've been under pretty much constant attack lately. But that's okay. It's just making us stronger. I hope those on the offense are ready to pivot. We're going back to defense, kids. Oh, shit! Did he just say that? Yeah, he did. So where we left off at was after the first divorce. And when I got into the book of the angel Raziel, and then I said how you kind of fade sometimes and you work your way back to that place that you escaped from. And there's a warning in the New Testament that Jesus gives, that when a man goes and leaves that house with those 3 demons, sooner or later he circles back. And when he gets back, there's 10 there, stronger than the first 3, or 10 times stronger than the first 3, whatever the translations say now. But it's more or less you become self-aware in that journey. And then when you get back, now you have to conquer all those demons and climb the tree. And I wandered into the bohemian world. I'd already written a novel that I'm still waiting to publish, a poetry book that I wrote, practicing my verbiage for the novel. I had a bunch of songs from the band that I never used. And I wanted to get into a different medium. I'd shot the movie. I did an underground flick. I'll see if I can. I'll just post the link somewhere on my page after this if anyone's interested. It's a silent film. And if you listen to or watch it with any music, sooner or later it falls into sync. And there's all kinds of... I was pretty heavy into Crowley then. So maybe there'll be some references. I haven't gone back and watched it. I don't like going back and seeing that other guy on the screen. I don't. So in 2007, I was working in a warehouse position, and I decided to start painting. And I started oils on canvas, and then it went to oil on board, and I ended up doing some local stuff. I did a show with Casey Carter. Thank you, Casey Carter Glass. And that was a lot of fun. And it was a great vent, and has been. I still occasionally paint. I haven't for a minute, not since the divorce. This one to wife number 2. And I'm kind of building to that in a way. I don't want to gloss over my journey, but I think I'm going to at that point. I had gotten with Dee, my mother witch, and she showed me a lot of stuff about intention and about tarot and about divination and about herbs and about palmistry and about a lot of things. She has a lot of breadth and depth, and I admire her greatly. And I've been absent as of late. I haven't seen her for about a month, and I know she's irritated with me, but life has a way of intervening sometimes, and we don't always have a direct say. You just got to kind of roomie it. Sometimes the best action is inaction. Ground down. Stand up against that rising of the tide with your middle finger up, screaming. But between Dee and I was a distance of years, and I was a stupid kid at the time. And I don't know. I just went my own way and she went her own way, and we just kind of drifted apart. And about a year went by, almost, and I got with my wife number two, she whose name we do not mention. And I don't know. I settled. I went into that bubble for 16 years. And I ran for mayor 2 times of the town we lived in. And on the second time, she told me if I ran, she was going to divorce me. But we had already talked previous to that in September. And she'd said it was okay if I ran, because while she loved me, she wasn't in love with me anymore. And that was a bitter pill to swallow. But at the same time, extremely necessary for both of us to get closure. So we had to go through the holidays and put on a brave face in front of our families and friends. And I don't know if she said anything. I'm assuming she did based on how everything played out. But I didn't. I was a man of my word. And we let everybody have a good holiday season, because our house was the party house. And because it was 5,000 square feet, and, it was just a monstrosity of a party space that we had in the back. It used to be a business. So her and I called it quits. I moved out with my dog and my son, and that was pretty much about it, really. I took one moving van of books. I had a library that you'd drool over if you guys are readers. 190 autographed first editions. Yeah. 3 Pulitzer Prize winners. Oh! And I had a lot of other first editions of everything from Uncle Tom's Cabin to some James Fenimore Cooper, Sherlock Holmes. I had a really nice library. My oldest book was 1757. And then I lost all that. Basically, I gave it all away. I paid it forward, and everything else went into the garbage. At this same time is where it gets really cool now, the story. Because, wow, all of this was playing out. I got approached by my brotherhood, and it was at the time of the election. Quite literally, I took my oath the week before. It was the week before. And I had already kind of started doing my own thing, which was why I think they reached out, because of what I'd been posting online. And then there were some odd synchronicities that happened. My lease came up on my vehicle, and my ex insisted I go out and clean it after I'd already cleaned it. Well, I'm getting ahead. I'm getting way ahead, because there were a few other things that happened before that. I decided I was going to go to church, because I had been going because my son had gotten baptized, and I wanted to support his decision. He was getting spiritual, and I wanted to help him along on his journey, and it was important to him that I be there, so I was there. And then as I was running for office as the pro-cannabis mayor, and it was funny because there was an issue up that was going to legalize it in the state of Ohio anyway, and I knew they'd finally got the verbiage right enough to where it was going to pass. So why not jump on the bandwagon when you're supposed to? Strike while the iron's hot, right? And I did. And then I got approached by my brotherhood and was doing a few things. And I'd gotten into Rosicrucianism years before. So what my brotherhood was talking about, I was very, very, very interested and into. And I asked my father, even. And actually, it was the day I got wounded by the church, because that's what I'm going to call it, because that's what it was. Politics and religion. It was very eye-opening. I'd had a dream that Friday, and when I woke up, I said, I got to go to church. That was the very first thing that came to my mind. And I was debating finding out how to do communion that day. I wanted to take communion. It had been a while. And I went and got up and I made coffee, and my autistic son was running late. He was in one of his moods. And I just said, look, Al, just go upstairs and it'll be cool, get ready. And we'll get to church on time, don't worry. It's 5 minutes away. It's not even 5 minutes away. It's 5 blocks away. We'll be there in no time. And we went. Now, right as we're leaving, the phone rings. And it's my mother. And she was like, hey, the preacher just talked to me. He wants to know where his favorite Bible student, my son, and where you are. Have you been coming to church while he was busy doing missions work? And I said, yeah, I've been there. I went when you didn't even go. So we're on our way. Everybody just hold your panties on. We'll be right there. And we got there, right on time. They had literally just started the first song in the morning with the morning worship hour or half hour, whatever it was. Half hour. And that was the whole point. I told Alex to go up there, was so he could get involved with the band. He wanted to play guitar with them. If you've seen any of the podcast stuff that I used to do, my son still plays guitar over there. And that was the whole point. But he never got the chance for some reason. I don't know what the deal was. And we got there. We slipped in with the family row. I got my mom and pop. And they continued on with the normal stuff. The preacher kind of acknowledged that I was there because I'm 6'7", with a kind of like a nod and a smile. I nodded and smiled back. Hey, we're here. I thought because I was one of the only people, I think I was the only person in the congregation running for office at this big church. So I thought, he's going to say a special prayer or something like that because it's election week and it's going to be, cool. So it gets to that point, and there's an abortion thing that was on the menu, I remember, for voting, and he said something about that. And then he said, and issue 2's up. And I know how cannabis can help people with certain ailments, but this just goes too far. And he looked up and he smiled at me when he said it. And I was just so taken aback, because then he went right back to the prayer again. But he did not look at me for the next hour. He went back up on the dais and they talked about the missions trips and stuff, but he did not look in my direction the entire time after that last look that I shot him. Because I couldn't believe that he would throw me under the bus like that. My interview with the local newspaper had come out, where I came out very pro-cannabis because we were a farming community out there. And it just was really brutal. So that evening we had a cookout at the house, and I asked my dad, I pulled him aside, I said, hey, Pop, I said, you saw that today, right? You were standing right beside me. And he admitted it, that he did see it. I got thrown under the bus. And he goes, he had to do what he had to do, whatever, and you're gonna do whatever you gotta do. Okay, fair enough. Was Grandpa ever a Freemason? And he looked at me, and no, to his knowledge, no. No and no. We've, always been good with everybody, friends with friends, but no, to my knowledge, no. And I said, well, I've been very aggressively courted, and I just wanted to let you know that I took my oath. And he was surprised. And he said, well, maybe no one in our family has ever gone for high office like you are, higher office, mayor's not huge, but maybe this is a necessity for what you're doing. And, maybe you're just going to have to. But that'll be on you. And I was like, well, it's on me. I said, it's all on me too. So I'm still very spiritual at this point. And I had gotten into Peter Carroll's Psychonaut, pretty heavy, and the primer for Chaos Magic, and realized that that's what I'd been practicing all along with the divination stuff that I was doing. This cigarette is so unfulfilling. It's not my brand. So I ended up, there's a lot of so's in this, and I'm sorry. It's been a minute. My mind is all over the place today. I just wanted to make sure I got this part in before we get into the real fun stuff. I may do 2 videos today because it's been a minute. But I ended up, you know, letting my dad know vaguely what was up, very vaguely. Because while it's not for everyone, it could be. It just depends on where you are in your journey. Not everybody's in the same place. You're not going to bring everybody with you. A sad fact. A sad fact. If you're taking this stuff seriously, it's very solitary. As much as you'd like to take others and show others, they just think you're a space alien, especially when we get into this stuff here that we're getting into now. I talked to my mentor, my grandmaster, my whoever you want to call that head at the top. My mentor is who he is. And it's our job when we reach a certain level to help those that are down on the ladder up. And this is part of it. This is that selflessness, helping your brother up when he's down. You can plant seeds. And you can do that by acting accordingly through example in how your journey is and showing what you've learned by example, putting it into practical application, not just all lip service. Honor and integrity, love and light, baby. So my mentor and I were talking about the divination and the things I was into, and he said, well, you know, you need to get some tarot. You need to get or something else. So I went down and saw my mother witch, Dee, and told her, hey, I joined a brotherhood. I lost the election, but it's not how you get knocked down, it's how you get back up. And I got a really nice illuminated deck, and it's very, very on the money. I've done quite a few really intense readings where people end up in tears. At the same time that I got that deck, the other thing that my mentor said was I needed to really get into my meditation, because he could tell by the way that I talked that I had a lot of, being a creative mind, I had a lot of power there that I wasn't even tapping into. And he gave me one thing to look into that I was already looking into, because I was going through my second divorce and was talking with a marriage counselor about, who was also a shrink. And that's hemisync, where you fire up both sides of your brain. And you do this through meditation. First, you have to make sure your pineal gland's decalcified, and you do this through constant practice with what they used to call the evil eye, where you put your eye on a fixed space and then look through it, the 1,000-yard stare. And when you can do that, you're there. That's the spot. And then you can start going from there and building. And your pineal gland, there's a certain one that I like. It says, see if you can listen to it for 3 hours. I found it on the YouTube, and it's a really good one. And it sounds like angels singing. It's amazing. It's these certain tones, and it's designed to activate your pineal gland. Do that one, you know, for a week or 2. That way you're really sure that everything's kind of fired up. And another thing you can do is kind of tap yourself right where your third eye is, very gently. That energy's going. And you just activate it. Make sure it's charged up. And then you start to meditate. And that's when things start to get interesting. Because now and I had already had plenty of out-of-body experiences in the astral realm that were all very disjointed and disassociated. I hadn't really done anything too pointed yet, but now I was. And I was visualizing this golden triangle. This golden triangle kept popping up. And not only that, but I was also getting Amun-Re. And he's my spirit guide. And a lot of really interesting things happened the very next night. And I think that's where we're going to stop, because I think I'm right at the 20 mark. So we're going to stop at 20 minutes and I'll do another video, a separate one.